Okay, guys, today I'm doing Venus in Taurus in the second house. So how you can look at this is that as you look at your chart, you need to look where Venus is in your chart, and you can also look at the second house as well. So it depends where your Venus is going to be, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is do a slideshow here and explain a few things to you. So what we have is that Venus has an inner nature and an outer natures, and it is the way in which we hear our own voice and the way we speak to ourselves and the way we listen. And as we hear ourselves, our own inner talk, we can see how we project it onto the world, and then we can see it reflected back to us. And it's about our inner needs and values. And Venus rules Taurus and the second house, and Libra and the seventh house. So you can look at your chart. I mean, it goes quite deep when we start looking at astrology. It's not, one thing. It all ties in together, and we synthesize. So, we're not taking just one thing, but this is an idea so that you understand what Venus in Taurus means to you. So we can look at, in order to heal ourselves and to, evolve, we can ask the question, how do I talk to myself? Because when we begin to establish how we talk to ourselves, if we've got an inner critic that's running havoc, it means that that inner critic will define what our antennas will pick up on in life. So how we talk to ourselves, but clearly as well, how we talk to ourselves in astrology will be defined by where our Venus is and how we hear ourselves as well. So it's good to know that. This is my chart here. I have Venus in Aries. So what you're looking for, if you're looking at your chart and you've not looked at astrology before, you can get a chart like this on astro.com. And also I do readings. I understand what an astrology chart holds, as I've been studying myself over the last few years. And I'm able to assist in helping people with their own charts. So if you can see here where my pointer is, you can see this is the symbolism of Venus. And I have Venus in Aries myself, and it's in my fifth house. So we need to establish where our Venus is, and then we want to know what house it's in, because we will listen to both areas of what that means. So I would look for myself, because my Venus is in the fifth house. I would look at Venus in Leo, but I am Venus in Aries. Okay, next slide. So we have here a natal chart. It represents our potential, and it also represents what we have been in the past, and that will be shown in the South Node, and it will also represent where we are at and what we can become. We have free will, and knowing this means we get to make choices. So we have to understand that the astrology chart is a snapshot of the heavens at birth, but clearly we evolve. We're evolving. It is important we look at the totality of a chart, and in evolutionary astrology, the baseline used will be Pluto and the North Node and the South Node. So next slide. So Venus in Taurus, ruler Venus. Here we have a pattern of needing lasting bonds, and this will require a deep internalization of who and what they are. They are interested in their needs and are looking for meaning in life, reliance upon self and meeting one's own needs to sustain self through resources that are resilient. Their values will be based and made through what life means to them. Their values are unique to them and are defined by them and not by others. So very good to know that the Venus in Taurus, they define their own values. They will not have, their values defined for them. They would not like that. There is a resistance to others whose values are not similar, and they are fixed in their values. So this can cause resistance to others, and the way they see things is hard to budge. Due to resistance to others, value systems and beliefs, they grow steady but slowly. So if you think about the bull, you think about Taurus, and you think about, but it's Venus, Venus in Taurus. We've got here, this is not a negative thing, that it is a style and a necessary way of being in the world, and also a need in the world for them. They can find it difficult to let go of things that they and they can be possessive because of fear of loss. When others share their values, they can exude warmth. They can be jealous and as a result attract others who are possessive. This is similar to their rigidness in beliefs and values. They may attract others also that may limit their development. Here again, we see the mirror effect. Projecting our values onto others can make others angry and feel judged. So it's not all negative stuff. This is, you know, it's good stuff to know, and it's part of a chart and not the totality. We've also got here, they are here to learn to empower themselves. So Venus in Taurus, you're here to learn to empower yourself. They can also attract people who will help them to understand and experience their own empowerment or about self-empowerment. This can be through the body and sexual nature to avoid sluggishness in life and to also to help them find their own empowerment and pleasure. We can see learning self-empowerment has a polarity. It can come through with calm and ease, or also is experienced through trauma. So, you know, self-empowerment is sometimes learnt through, you know, the good stuff, and self-empowerment can sometimes be learnt through trauma, that we have to step into who we are. They can learn or use their body to experience transformation by being grounded. And when we have focused on our needs and desires and they are aligned in purpose, is where they are then supportive. We can balance this with the polarity of Scorpio and then get to see the bigger picture, which will help them expand their views. This also involves learning to listen to others and also teaches them to objectify, and this opens doors to new ways of seeing things. This also helps them to see and hear and not be so fixed and narrow in thinking, which leads to richer ways of being in the world. So I hope that makes sense. I like this saying here, this short sentence here by Uganda, and he says that mankind is engaged in an internal quest for that something else he hopes will bring him happiness, complete and unending. For those individual souls who have sought and found God, the search is over. He is that something else. So something, you know, about astrology is that we can begin to objectify our lives and learn about who we are and get to see the bigger picture. And part of that knowing self is also that, you know, whatever God is for us, it's going to be different for each individual because it's subjective. We can't argue about what God is, because what God is for me may be different for another. And again, the word God holds different meanings for different people. But for me, I understand what that means for me. So Carl Jung, he passed in 1961. I read his work, and he also used astrology in part of his practice. For people who don't know who Carl Jung is, Freud, he worked with Freud. They were friends for many years. They weren't friends forever, but they were friends for a period of time because they had different understandings about, you know, psychoanalysis. And Freud was more, you know, he was not so much into the soul, but Carl Jung was into the understanding our soul. And Carl Jung said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. He used about 500 astrology charts with couples whilst he was in practice, and the symbolism to help people to heal and understand themselves. He also says that what you resist not only persists, but will grow in size. So the more we know about ourselves, the more less resistance we need to be in, and the more we're going to grow in a good way, rather than having our problems grow. And resistance determines the magnitude of our problems or confrontations. And the source material here is that you can look at Jeffrey Wolf Green, Pluto 1. Do get that book if you're studying evolutionary astrology. It's a beautiful book, and it will help you understand your Pluto, which is vital. I've done videos on that also, because Pluto in evolutionary astrology is the soul and it's the subconscious. The quote there was by Carl Jung, and the Uganda also, and I've got a few pictures there that were from Google. I want to let you know that you can email me if you want your chart read, or you want to dig into, you know, what life means to you, any trauma that you've had. I understand quite a bit about CPTSD, which complex PTSD issues. So, you know, I've got a lot of wisdom in that area also. So that's it for today, and I'll be back next week with Venus in Gemini. Okay, I'll catch you later, and I'm going to end the slideshow there. So there you go. Thank you for watching.